This is the very corner of our property. We went straight over here, about three knolls over, and then straight up to the top of those hills up there that you can see. Where you see there's 3,000 acres here that we farmed from about 1953 to 1962. And then we've just been told that Arnold Benson's family bought this ground. No, we sold it to Aslets in exchange for their property in Marsh Valley. And Aslets come up and run this ground for about 10 years. And then Arnold Benson and his family bought this ground, and now they have 9,000 acres all together up here. And they've turned this part into, they did turn it into CRP for a few years, and then they put it into their own pasture, their own grassland. And they put cattle on here.
They also named that Benson.
But this is where I spent many a summer and fall up here working with my dad and hired man, Russell Peterson and Martha. And this is the road that is the road that we come up to our place on.
Okay.
You ready? Right down in through here is where our hired man, Russ Peterson, had parked his trailer that he had bought and lived in for 2 or 3 years before we left. And we come up and they cook our meals while we farmed. Over here where this shed is, there used to be what we call a grease shack. That's where he kept all the grease cans and all the stuff for the oils and stuff for the machinery. And when I come up to cut grain, me and my friend Jimmy Brown would sleep in there on a pair of bed springs. And then the hill right behind that, there's a nice piece of ground up on top of there where we'd have to go and take the crawler tractor up or the combines up over and cut or farm that piece of ground over there. This piece of ground on this hillside over there on top of that hill that goes clear up to the top was one piece of ground. There's a nice piece of ground up on top of here that we farmed. But this is where I was sleeping and Jimmy Brown was sleeping the night the big earthquake hit over in
Quake Lake.
Quake Lake. And we could hear it, we could feel it. It jarred the ground here all morning long. You could feel rumble after rumble after rumble coming through here. And we're about 100 miles away from where that earthquake epicenter was. My Uncle DeMar Taylor had an airplane, and he was one of the first ones to fly over that to see the damage that was occurred. But this is our place in Montana.